The pump span reaching optimal speeds, the cargo ramp area filling with a high-pitched hum. "Are you sure you don't want the SRV?" Seema asked over the radio. "No," Eros said, looking down the ramp as it cracked open, moving downwards, breaking the vacuum seal, and then began to angle itself. "No, you don't, or no, you're not sure." "You know what I mean, Seema. Stop being picky. The backpack will give me 60 minutes out there. Thanks for getting me close." Eros began to walk down the steps at the side of the ramp just as it made contact with the soil. Reaching the bottom, he stepped onto the red surface. Ahead of him, a field of bark mounds. He stepped forward, gently balancing his foot at first to prevent him tripping. As he moved out from under the ship, a deep blue gas giant hung in the sky against an almost blinding flare of white from the local A-class star. Eros walked slowly towards the mounds. The gravity was very low, and walking was awkward, and the temptation to simply kick off the surface as though in zero gravity was overwhelming. Reaching the nearest mound, Eros held out an XRF device and pressed it against a shining deposit that was growing on the surface. He attached the device to his belt and held onto the mound with one hand and the deposit with the other, carefully pulling it loose. In his hand was a pure single crystal of yttrium. He opened a small box and placed it on the rocky surface, scanned over it with an ion gauge, making a quick mental note of the ambient pressure and that of the box as it degassed into the hard vacuum. He slowly placed a crystal into it and attached it to his backpack. He retrieved another box and pre-opened while looking over the field, his head-up display flickering signals of metallic growths. As he began to move, he noticed the bay under the asp light up. Seema was launching the SRV. Despite driving it slowly, dust was being kicked everywhere. "Seema, can you keep the driving to a minimum until I have the samples?" "I'm going to go over to that crater we saw on the way down. I'll take a look around the mounds when you're done." He saw her point to her left and give him a salute as the SRV slowly began to crawl towards the west and then rapidly accelerate and engage its thrusters. "Let me know if you find anything cool." "Doubtful, but sure. Have fun gardening." An hour later, Eros stepped into the cockpit and jumped into the flight seat. He looked at the sensors. Seema's SRV was either out of range or its transponder has been turned off. He looked at the communications console and broadcast on open frequencies. "Seema? Seema, are you out there?"